Yeah.
I just Googled.
Is there a space in this room?
The space
You
for
have
what?
therapy and medicine, looks like she teaches.
Is there a space in this room?
In this room,
Yeah,
a space, there's one right there.
yeah, there is a space in this room.
Why?
Does the room contains the space or the
Oh.
space contains the room?
We, there's no difference between, there's no difference.
No, does the room contains the space or the space contains the room?
Well, the
oh.
room is the space.
The room is the space.
Yeah.
This is space contained. I remember when I first met you, you showed us a bowl. And you said there's air in the bowl and there's air outside the bowl. It's
Yes.
the same air.
So for convenience, for utility, for living in this material world, we say, oh, we have a lot of space. Come on, we can accommodate few more people. So the reference point is the space in the room. So then we say that this room contains a lot of space. But outside this room, there is a space too.
Mhm.
And if we become aware, then we know that the space contains the room.
Space contains the room.
Yeah. So
Okay.
space is the container,
Ah,
and the room is the content.
Hmm.
What about this body?
what about the galaxy?
What about the galaxy?
Yes.
That is also anything in the objective world that you feel that you have that is changing. It is a content. Galaxy is also a content in the vast infinite space. So there is a utility. Now come to the mind. Where is the mind in the body? And then we'll pick up these sutras, these verses from the Kundalini Upanishad, and then we'll start the practice so that it makes sense. You see that brain, neuroscientists have started talking about that the brain changes its structure and function. Function. So that is why we have anatomy and physiology. So brain has a structural entity and also it is functional. What about the mind? Mind is totally functional. Mind is totally functional. You have a lot of thoughts running. We say it is mind. You choose one. You say it is intellect. You claim ownership of that thought. It becomes ego. And you recall something from the past. It is the mind stuff. But the mind is, Priscilla, functional entity. It has no structural entity. Okay? Clear? Am I right?
It has no structural entity.
It does not have any material or a physical shape in the size and the mass. The brain has. So that's why it has its structure.
The brain and the mind aren't the same thing.
Brain and mind are different. The mind is functional and the brain has. Now coming to this sutras, it says a wise yogi should take the kundalini from the Muladhara to the Sahasrara or the thousand petal lotus in the crown of the head. This process is called Shakti Chalana. Shakti means the power, Chalana means movement. So you move that force or the serpent power from the base to the top. So what happens? The Kundalini should pass through different chakras. It has the master writes. And so what happens? Two things are necessary for the practice of this awakening. One is movement of this energy, and the other is restraint of the breath, means breath regulation practices. I think is it clear the mind is a functional entity? It is not a structural entity.
It's a functional.
It is a
Yeah.
functional
There's
entity.
it doesn't reside.
It doesn't
anywhere.
reside. It doesn't have any location. It does not have any physical material entity. We can say it is made up of the carbs, protein, the way the brain is made up of. So even when we talk of a neurotransmitter, it is a protein. That is how we say. So it has its structural entity. Now we can think about the protein. In the same way, this Kundalini is a functional entity. You need not to fight and compare it with the plexus, the neurons, and the nerve. Physical entity is not there. But we try to fight it over that some good scientists, who are committed to, who lean little bit towards these Eastern wisdom, and then they try to prove that, there is a nerve plexus, these are the plexus, this is what the chakra is. But when we understand, as we go through this text, the master says clearly, it has a functional entity. It does not have a structural entity. Can you show me the shape and the size of the current that is flowing into the electrical wires? You cannot show me. But it manifests as a light. It runs the fan. It runs our car. Look at it. But still, you cannot show me any structural entity of the electrical current, electricity. Can you show me? No.
Not with my eyes.
Yeah. But there is no structural entity. It has got its functional entity. The same way this power, consciousness force, has a functional entity. Now, once you understand that part of it, what happens to this energy when we are born? What happens to it? It resides. We are not aware when we are born. We are not aware. The time, the date, we are not aware. So who takes care of that? It is the consciousness force at the root of the spine, responsible for survival, takes care of our life. That's why we are alive even now. Otherwise, we should not have been alive.
We have no mind.
Mind was there, but mind was totally dictated and dominated by the unconscious. So there was total unconsciousness. The moment you are born, the mind is there that regulates your heartbeat, that helps you to helps your brain to function, and all those.
But you already have this function when you are in the womb.
Yes, in a womb, the mind was there in the womb. It started. Once that unconscious mind starts helping you to survive, and the nature finds it fit, more or less after 9 months. So nature says, now is the time to come out to lead an independent life.
Yeah.
Marry again so that you can still have the same process. So basically, that consciousness force as a functional entity is symbolically represented as the base or the root chakra. Any scientist, no, you can try to rationalize, but that rationalization doesn't work. When we clearly understand what is functional entity and what is structural entity. And when we understand this is a consciousness force, this is a power, it has its functional entity, and that power, if it is dictated by the unconscious mind, the nature works at its best for the survival. Second chakra, when we talk of Swadhisthana chakra, it governs our lower, you can say the lower vital. What means you have small greeds, we have small desires, we have small passions. Small desires, small passion. That is why I say that we cannot have sex for 24 hours. We cannot eat for 24 hours. So they are small. And the third chakra, we have big passions. One of the texts explains that when the dysfunctional entity is governed by the third, so what happens? In adulthood, you have tremendous energy, you have tremendous wealth, like the one who is a presidential candidate now, the way he speaks out, it shows that, yes, it doesn't show that he is speaking, it shows that the wealth is speaking. In adulthood, it is the sex, the pleasure, the excitement that starts speaking. Two things. And the third is the position, authority. Sometimes you have a tremendous authority, power, corrupt. And the fourth is the ignorance. So these four negative traits rules this third center. Navel. So now the rest three centers pertains to and the heart. The moment your consciousness moves to the heart, either you have emotional upsets or you get an inspiration. That inspiration brings a focus on you. This is known as a higher vital, the higher energy. And the two centers, the throat center and this center, has to do with the lower mental and the higher mental. And this pertains to transcending the mind. So again, remember, when this energy is released from the lower centers, it starts moving up. Moving up means you rise in consciousness. What is the shape of a wisdom? For example, if you love me, not love me, but if you love me, can you show the shape of the love? No. It has its functional entity, it has its expression. So same thing, this consciousness force, when it is released from the lower centers of our consciousness, that consciousness expands. It uses that energy to open up the dormant faculties of the brain. That is what the neuroscientists have started saying, that we are able to change the structure and also the functions of the brain. So why they are saying this? Because the brain has a dormant potential. What are those potential? It has the potential to withstand any kind of pressure from outside. It has the power to dissociate itself from the body. It happens in coma. It can happen consciously. This is what is the meaning of Shakti Chalana. Your consciousness should evolve. Your mind should evolve and help you reach to the higher state. I'll take up this issue again. So, based on this, let us start the practice today. Let us sit and lie down, whatever is most comfortable. I'll try and not talk a lot, but we should continue to do the practice till the eyes are closed. Now I will compare practically for your understanding. In every traditional practices, the role of asana is very important. So what is that asana? Happy in the steady pose. So your eyes are closed. Find out the best comfortable position of your body. Is it steady? When it becomes steady, when you are comfortable. And that is where I give you the steps that you look at the neck joint, shoulder blades, hip joints, knees, ankles, in the toes. You are comfortable. You are comfortable. What if the Kundalini is a structural entity? What it has to do with a happy and a steady pose? Understand this? And what it has to do with your consciousness, the state of your awareness. So, what happens when that consciousness meets the steadiness and the happiness state of the body? So, what happens? Do you still, or does your mind still going down, or it's going up? So there is a rise in the consciousness. One more thing that is extremely important in the practice of these asanas, my friends, that what is the method of practicing the asana? This text lays great importance that we should uh, do the meditative poses to reach and to be ready to awaken this Kundalini or the consciousness force. So in that asana, what is the method? Method is effortlessness. Are you in the state of effortlessness? Yes. Are you in the state of happiness? Yes. So steady and relaxed or happy state. What happens? It raises your awareness. And the rise in awareness also helps raising your energy that was dictated by our unconsciousness. Now, in that state, we need to move this energy upward. And there comes the role of the breath. The breath regulation practices. Two things are necessary for the practice of. One is Saraswati Chalana, and the other is the regulation of the breath. And that is why you do a simple practice. You look inside the chest and start breathing quick and fast into the chest. Quick and fast into the chest. Quick and fast into the chest. Yes. Quick, fast, continue. Quick, fast, continue. Quick and fast breath. And stop it. So again, we maintain that awareness. We don't ask the mind to sleep. It is the mind, the conscious mind, the waking state helps us to raise this energy and change the state of our consciousness. And that is why you look at the head and the neck, feel the sensation and the stillness. Right arm, sensation and the stillness. Left arm, in the path of knowledge, we do not talk about the energy. We do not talk about the ascent and descent of energy. We only talk about the subjective reality. So when you look at the rib cage and the belly, and we experience they are steady, they are still, what happens in the mind? There comes a sense of detachment. The moment detachment comes, your energy and the consciousness fly upward. That is why we don't talk of any entity, power. Look at the right leg. Look at the left leg. Feel the sensation and experience the stillness. Look at the other side of it. If there is no effort and you are consciously experiencing the state of sensation and the stillness, what it indicates? That and lower unconscious movement is not there. The path is clear. We need not to go into a very complex structural aspects of it. We'll be lost. It will never bring us any result. We can claim my chakra is awakened, what the awakening means, and still I have a stress. Look inside the belly and start breathing long and fast breath into the belly. We are repeating the same practice that we did last week, and then we'll go further. Continue the fast breath. And stop it, and again return to that state that defines the state of your being. Awakening means that you discover something that is beyond cause and effect relationship, that is beyond relative reality. So we look at the subjective experiences of sensation and the stillness in the head and the neck, right arm, left arm, sensation in the stillness. One more level of awareness is required. You experience the sensation and the stillness in the right leg, left leg, in the entire body. What about this bulb that is giving me the light at this time? Oh, it is because of electricity. So that consciousness force, that potential energy lightens up, we can say, lightens up any part of the body. It can trigger, it can give you a variety of experiences at the physical, mental, and the emotional level. Can we say it is the physical manifestation of that energy? Yes. Focus your mind deep inside the forehead and start breathing long in the hissing breath. First, you inhale into the belly, then into the chest. Long in the hissing breath. Long in the hissing breath. And stop this. Again, return to that state of the consciousness. We did some activity. Any action has its home in the cause and effect. It is a relative reality. What we are seeking, subjective, absolute. That is where the awakening lies. Feel the head in, the neck, and again move into and experience the sensation in the stillness, the right arm, left arm, rib cage. You're not doing anything, you're looking, you're becoming aware. That gives you a subjective experience of the sensation, the stillness, maybe freshness, and the calmness. We have to gather these experiences more and more to redirect that energy for an upward movement. Now look at the breath. And start breathing deep, silent, and slow. So how you inhale, first you inhale into the belly, then into the chest. Breathe out from the belly, from the chest. So we are picking up the third center. Third center, responsible that governs our larger, bigger, uh, vital expressions of authority, of power, and we all have, even at a very subtler level. That's why we praise who are wealthy. We always adore who are powerful. And that's why we also sometimes praise ignorance, because ignorance is bliss. It helps us to remain in a cause and effect relationship. It has its strong identification. So that's why we are doing the deep, silent, and slow breathing in a natural process. We'll be doing more of bandhas and the mudras to purify, to cleanse, to raise our consciousness. Then the heart center, the higher vital energy level, governs our emotional being. So the belly, the heart, but because there is an awareness and attention is there, so the third center, or you can say the eyebrow center, the center of the wisdom, is also involved. It governs the dynamic mind, will, vision. It has the ability for a mental formation that we will learn from this text in the following weeks. And that is how I been using that body, breath, brain, and mind all are actively engaged in the deep, silent, and slow breathing. We add one more, the sound of the humming. Every sound represents the throat. Havishuddha, the lower mind. So once the breath, you start exhaling the breath and you make the sound of humming. Yes, continue. It's so simple to understand and to practice. Every step you understand. Continue the humming sound. Continue. And stop this humming sound, but continue to be into the state of deep, silent, and slow breathing. The sound R triggers the belly button, the center of the vital that governs our larger vitality of domination, of dictating, of authority. And I is the sound related to that. So we have been using the universal sound of Om. So we do not even think that we have to speak Om. We, with lips open when the breath is coming out from the belly, we create a sound of ah. The moment the breath starts coming out from the chest, lips joins together. It begins triggering the emotive center and reaches to the lower mental in the state of the sensation and the stillness. This is what we have started doing. So, breath, continue to inhale deeply into the belly and the chest. The moment the breath starts coming out from the ribs, lips joins together, lips opens up when you are exhaling from the belly. And then it works very fine. You may have an easy experience of the movement of the sensation or the energy from the belly upward inside your head. Let the sound flow out of you because of the exhalation from the belly, from the ribs, the way it happens in a flute. The flute does not know which sound it has. It is the way you blow the air in the flute. Continue, my friends. Intentionally, there is no intention to say Om. Lips opens up, that becomes a hole. You exhale from the belly. Lips joins together. You exhale from the ribs. And stop this step also. Let us bypass that cause and effect relationship. Means we are doing some activity at the physical level, and we were doing the breath regulation in variety of ways until now. Leave the breath as it is. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Potential means that higher state is present despite and in spite of everything that we do or we don't do it. It is always there. We all have the same potential. Neuroscience says inward awareness and attention fires the brain and rewires it. But that is oversimplification. What we do, we bring our awareness and attention at different points. So let us today start with the belly button. You do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath, but the moment the breath goes in, look inside the belly button. You have a conscious experience of the sensation. The breath comes out, belly drops down. In those moments of the breath going in, you drop the same sound, Om. Breath comes out, Om. Drop in, take out. Drop in, take out. Now understand our consciousness and energy both are neutral. So we are using the sound and the breath awareness as a device to dive deeper with it. Casual. We'll be using the mantra for other purposes also later on. Make it simple. Breath goes in, The mind also drops inside the belly button with the sound of Om. Om helps your consciousness to know, oh, and take it out. Goes in. Oh. I-ness. I am the body, I am the breath, I live. That is the ignorance, unconsciousness. And because I am the body and the breath, I have the pleasures and the pain and the dualities and the conflicts. All are related to the first three centers of the consciousness. What we are doing? Come on, move to the larger vital and let me awaken to the power there. Without the authority through the physical, through the anger, through the instincts, and this energy starts moving up. When you do the practice in a very simple, easy way, not through a lot of imaginations and visualizations, you prevent yourself from the dangers of falling into hallucinations. Then your mind creates such a rigid belief. And because of that rigidity, you start seeing these as a physical entity. And once that becomes a physical entity, comes through the mind, you destroy your mind. Now move the awareness and attention inside the heart. Breath goes in, drop, Om comes out, drop. But casual awareness at the center of the rib cage, or any point in the rib cage. When you keep that attention and awareness there, the mind doesn't recall the objective realities associated with anger, greed, danger, and consciousness, and you're opening up to the pure emotion. In that state of the stillness in the body, natural movement of the breath, your awareness and attention moves with the breath inside the heart, dropping home, taking out. And now, when the breath goes and look inside, at any point on the forehead and drop the same sound home, breath comes out, look at the same point, take the home out. Why we are not using the throat center? That center expresses and externalizes the mind, even though in the purest form. And we want the knowledge. So we bypass that center. Casual home, looking inside at any point on the forehead. Breath comes out. Home, 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 home. Mental. There is a conscious experience of the state of this stillness and the sensation in the body. It may turn out to be numbness, tingling, freezing, because the center is the center of a dynamic mind. Vision. So there comes the easy visions and the colors that represents different states of our consciousness. And doing nothing. Remain as you are in that state. So that state of doing nothing and a conscious experience gives us some clues, some idea. Is there an entity beyond the cause and effect, beyond the relative world? Is there any subjective consciousness? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind, your awareness on the right palm, on your left palm. And when you are ready, I could say, and raise both your palms, place it in your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. Let us share what happened. How are you? Yes, how are you?
Intense.
Yes, and so we'll also understand in the following weeks, sometime we talk a lot about of retaining the breath. We did a lot of those practices previously, and why we do it and why we shouldn't do it. It was intense.
Yeah, well, I went into unconsciousness once or twice, I think, but um, I just felt so much energy around my hands. In fact, I kept this hand down until I opened my eye. I swear something was just pushing like this.
Ah, that's wonderful. Yes, that's a good thing.
There was nothing there.
Nothing there. How are you?
I'm good.
Good? You're
Yeah.
good. Yes, I could see. Happy. Elizabeth, how are you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't resist, sometime, twitching it. Sometime. So we get a lot of jerks also, so it's okay. Shots in the body, and they are normal. Gradually, it releases and we calm down. How are you in?
Oh, I really felt like I melted into the floor.
Melted into the floor, yeah.
So
What happens when the salt of the mountain salt goes in search of an ocean? When the mountain salt drops into a pond, what happens?
a mountain what?
Salt mountain,
Salt.
yeah. Salt mountain goes in search of a big ocean. What happens?
Melts.
That is what happens to us. Our individual identity melts.
Yeah.
Our individual I-ness drops and dissolves. We become one with the existence. So that kind of an expression indicates something deeper state. You understand what I'm saying? What I
Yeah.
wanted to say? Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, it's like the room.